Shaymin is the 13th and, to our knowledge, final raid boss of the PokeMMO Lunar New Year event in the year of our Lord 2020-2025. You did get the OT count bumped up to 2 for the Shaymin raid, so you will need 2 OT Pokemon to enter the raid. Special thank you to Jejgunz once again for the majority of the strategy in this video, and you'll see in the battle a 3-person carry to get me through it. I was able to help in that I didn't have OT restrictions that his alts did, so that's about all of my contribution to this. Jejgunz had a very speedy kill, but I believe the first overall kill goes to Bocce and their link. I'll link their video in the description, but kudos to them. Otherwise, let's get into it. To access Shaymin, you'll need to have completed all of the previous raids, and the flowers will combine into a wilted bouquet, which you will then use to travel to the flower paradise, at which point you have to run a comically long amount of time up this flower path to get to the raid den. For mechanics, to start, the boss is neutral to ice type attacks, so blizzard spam is not an option. There's the ability Serene Grace, which won't play that much of a factor. There's the held item type policy, which will boost its special and physical attack, but we're just going to ignore that. Most importantly, at the beginning of the fight, it sets follow me on the ads just like Lopunny did, so we need to use spread moves to deal with the ads throughout the fight. That's especially challenging given there are focus sash and sturdy ads to deal with. Additionally, there's a synthesis at 75%, which will need to be heal blocked. There is a sleep powder at around 60%. We're just going to time it so that we deal damage at the end of a turn in order to not have to deal with the sleep powder mechanic. And finally, at around 30%, there is a tailwind that goes off. We'll need to save our fast fire types for the end. Its moveset is Earth Power, Air Slash, Seed Flare, and Psychic. Seed Flare is of special note. It creates a field effect that reduces Pokemon's special and physical attack by 4 stages, I believe. So you'll want to create situations where Seed Flare is not used at all. My recommendation is to avoid it entirely. You'll see in the strategy how that plays out. Otherwise, you'll need to deal with it via something like Mist or things like Heavy Duty Boots, White Herb, etc. And a quick cheat sheet to go over. We'll just briefly go over the strategy, and you can see it in action shortly in the battle itself. We're using 2 eruptions to begin to make sure that we kill the Gyarados that always spawns on the left. We use eruptions because it is 100% accurate, and we don't have gravity set until turn 2. Whimsicott Tailwind is the recommendation to begin. We used Murkrow, and the boss would sometimes use Seed Flare once in a while. That would just be a forfeit go next for us when that did occur. Whimsicott probably will not bait Seed Flare as it has the grass resistance. And then Ninetales will Weather Ball the Braviary ad. It is a fixed ad, so you just Weather Ball it to take care of it for the remainder of the fight. There will be no further ads due to the fact that we're using all spread moves on the left side to take care of the single ad spawning there per turn. So turn 2, we are setting that gravity, so that enables us to begin using Heat Wave. Smeargle is used to heal block the synthesis that occurs shortly thereafter. It will go off on turn 3, I believe, but we can set it the turn before. And we use our slow Heat Wave or Eruption users here. This is so that we save the faster ones for once the Tailwind goes off later. The Tailwind cancels our Tailwind out, so you'll just effectively need to naturally outspeed the boss. So we're using all fast Eruption Heat Wave users from there on out. On the right side, the Pokemon choices are a bit more flexible because there is no ad. You can use single target moves. We used Emboars, so things like Darmanitan, Arcanine, what have you, will all do just fine, as there is no need for the multi-target moves. And then lastly, we use an additional Whimsicott Tailwind. Prankster is important here because the boss is very fast under Tailwind, so you will need to set a Prankster Tailwind. We used Murkrow and didn't get a Seed Flare bait there, so would recommend the Whimsicott potentially instead. And let's take a look at the battle. We have the fixed Gyarados and Braviary ads out. Shaymin casts the Follow Me effect onto the field. We have our Tailwind from our Murkrow. We have our Eruptions for our Typhlosions to deal with the Gyarados ad, and the Weather Ball goes off to kill the Braviary. Now we have no more ads on the right side for the remainder of the fight. That's why we use that Weather Ball to ensure that that Braviary goes down. Turn 2, we're using our slow Heat Wave users in Chandelure. We have Gravity coming out from Espeon to ensure those Heat Waves hit, and we use Heal Block Smeargle. Again, it's important to note that the Gothitelle Heal Block user tends to bait Seed Flares. Most users are reporting problems with that. Smeargle does not have that problem, and I've heard that Lunatone also baits an Earth Power, so that is another potential option to use for Heal Block there. We have Magmortar and Moltres coming out as our heat waivers here. They are also slow, and we have Emboars on the right side, just using Flare Blitz, a very good Flare Blitz option. And again, you can just use single target moves for the players 3 and 4 slots on the right side, as there is no ad that you run the risk of hitting instead of the boss because it is using Follow Me. From here on out, it's pretty straightforward. We switch to our fast users on turn 4. Moltres is the exception there. We are running out of options, but would recommend going all fast here. You run the risk of hitting that Tailwind. So Volcarona, Charizard, naturally outspeed. I grabbed an Infernape as well. Further options include things like Houndoom, things like, hold on, I have a list here. We have Houndoom, Infernape, Blaziken, Volcarona, and Charizard are all good fast Heat Wave users. If you have access, we try to avoid using legendaries at all, but Entei is a very good fast eruption user if you do have it. Heatran is another good lead eruption user if you have that as well, and then you can use Typhlosion later as a fast eruption user. Other than that, that's pretty much the battle. We didn't get a Seed Flare on the Murkrow there, so that could be a bit lucky. We didn't see it on turn 5 happen at all, though. Again, it's very occasional. Would recommend the Whimsicott if you have that access via your OTs, or you have OTs that enable you to use one instead. We just spam Eruption here and finish out the boss. So that's the catch. You'll see chat pop up. I had quite a few people watching both the World Firsts and then Judge and Mine testing on the battle here. It was very late at night. It was super cool to have so many people watching. So just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's had kind words, whatnot. It really means a lot. Super cool to sort of help the community, and really appreciate all the comments, the kind words, the whispers, the shout outs. Really, really been fun for me and enjoying this. So this is the last video I'll probably put out for the event. Might see some live streams doing the Abundant Shrine, or maybe some alt battles, finishing all those raid battles on my alt. But again, thanks so much. Good luck with your Shaymin raid, and good luck with the rest of the event.